When I say pen, you say noobs. Pen
Oh, yeah.
noobs.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Pen.
Noobs.
Ooh, Jika. Someone said the noobs as well.
We have a special guest. That means we have a special guest.
We have a special guest. So, good evening, good day, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, and whatever time you're listening to the Pen Noobs Podcast. I'm Ryan.
I'm Jika.
And for today's episode, we have a guest from the Philippines, where we are from. And he's very popular in the Philippines as one of the power sellers in the fountain pen palenque. He's also very notable for having such engaging and entertaining promotional taglines, promotional advertising in the fountain pen palenque. And so, Jika, please do the honor to introduce our guest for this episode.
Everyone, please welcome the man who supplied half of my pen collection, Mr. Alden Castaneda. Applause!
Hello everyone.
Hi!
Thank you, Ryan, and
Alden.
thank you, Jika, for inviting me.
Thanks po, Sir Alden, for coming over.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sir Alden, for gracing us in this particular episode. You know, Jika and I, our collection, well, as what Jika said, half of her collection is from you. And for me, most of the pens I love the most are from you.
Great. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Yeah. So in this episode, we're going to talk to Sir Alden Castaneda pertaining to his fountain pen and stationery journey, and likewise, of course, with what he does and what he's very good at, which is penabling people. And we will find out how penabling has become, of course, a business for him, and likewise, a lifelong passion, which he continuously pursues. But to start off first our episode, we're going to have our first segment, which is Noob Discoveries. So in this particular segment, we need to share a new discovery that we have or something interesting that we just discovered pertaining to fountain pens, stationaries, journals, etc., etc. Sige. Sir Alden, do you want to start? Or maybe Jika and I could start?
Oh, you want me to start? Sige.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I'll share my favorite pens, I guess, for everyday writing.
Oh.
As you note, it's plural. Because I would be content with just one pen. I'm sure you can also relate to that. No? So I have basically a platinum. This is a 3776 Oshino.
Mm.
And then I have a Pro Gear Realo. And the third is a Wancher Crystal 2.
Oh my gosh,
So,
sir. First
those
one,
are
sir.
those are my three favorite pens for everyday writing. No? So for platinum, I like it. I like the shape. Actually, this is the best shape I like. It's just right for my hand. And the M nib is what I really love about the platinum pen. Now, this is a 3776. I also like demos because I like to see how much ink is present, and I like how this demo stays clear. No, even with everyday use, it doesn't seem to have as much scratches as other demos. No, I think they have a special technology for this type of demo. And then the second is the Realo. No, so the Realo, again, you can also see the ink window, and this is an M nib. Okay, so uh, surprisingly, this Realo is very smooth. I don't know if it's a trend, but it seems that the Sailor M's now tend to have less feedback than years before. No? So it feels much smoother now, and I like the way it writes. And then the third, my steel nib. This is the Wancher Crystal 2. No. So again, it's very smooth. I can't say that it's a steel nib. It feels like a gold nib when I write it. And the M, it's actually a Joa nib. No? So, but this Joa nib writes really well. So it's also my favorite. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. Gusto ko tuloy ng Sailor Pro Gear Rialo.
I have that. Sir Alden, my boyfriend has the Hashino and I have the Rialo. So I feel like we're in
Oh.
good company.
Do you exchange pens?
Not yet, but we assume it's conjugal property. So it's also mine.
Sana all may ka-conjugal.
But yeah. Oh, can I go next po for Noob
Yeah, sure.
Discoveries?
Sure. No.
Actually, it's a reverse Noob Discovery because I will not stop promoting our giveaway. It's really, guys, I just want you to discover the giveaway again on our page. Join in and we're drawing the winner on April 30th. When's that? This Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay, we're drawing the winner this Saturday, and hopefully we can release this episode on Friday. I'm really hoping that I finish editing by then. But for now, guys, time to discover our page once again. We are not so noobs anymore, but we still are noobs. So we are the Pen Noobs Podcast. Our Instagram page and the giveaway are your ideal noob discoveries for this week. Yay!
Show them the pen case para Sir Alden also can see.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. Hi, sir. I make pen cases now because I haven't been journaling. So,
Oh.
it's not seen. Wait, let me flash a light on it. So, yay, autofocus. So this is a veg tan leather hand stitched pen case. And you can pull out the 3 pens.
That's nice.
Thank you, Sir
And the
Alden.
stitches also look great.
Thank you po. Oh my God, kilig. It's like the power seller, Sir Alden, approves of my work. But yes. So everyone, we've upped the price from a prototype to an actual pen case. It fits snugly big pens or long pens, like say the Pilot Custom 823. Those fit here very well. So to do fat pens fit because it's adjustable in the back. So I tested it out. It can fit my Pilot Custom Urushi quite well. So join in, guys. Discover us after this episode.
Yay. Oh, for me, I have 2 noob discoveries. Well, they're not necessarily noob discoveries, but yeah, that's why they're noob discoveries because they're new to me. So, syempre, I want to flaunt the pen that I got from Sir Alden recently. So, it's the Vanishing Point. I guess what's noob discovery for me is that you can actually get something in extra fine. I think Sir Alden was surprised eh. Sir Alden gusto ko extra fine. But he has the nib. I was so surprised. I'm like, oh my goodness. He has an extra fine of the Vanishing Point, which I couldn't even find from Cosmos Bazaar or from other sellers ng Pilot Vanishing Point. So that was really something else. So Sir Alden, thank you. My noob discovery is the extra fine Vanishing Point. It's my everyday, not so everyday carry, but it's my everyday work pen. If I want to be subtle but still extra, if you know what I mean. Because gold is too extra and not subtle, but this one is extra but a little bit more professional. So
Yeah.
there you have it. And the perfect pairing for this actually is my new work planner. So I have a new work planner because I'm going to start my new work, my new job in May. That's
Oh.
next week na. But a lot of people have been asking about the Sumkin agenda. So this is from the brand Sumkin. So it's like a traveler's notebook, but the leather, Jika, the leather, look at the leather.
Can you bring it on Friday when we see each other?
Yeah, tapos look at the embossing at the back.
Oh, it's
It's
from
so
France.
yan. Yan. Tapos it it oh my gosh. You know, it smells like expensive leather. Yun. You know, that's how it smells like. So yeah, this is my new discovery. Um when um when one of our friends, Eunice, was asking me about is Sumkin worth it? I told her yes and no. Yes, it's worth it if it's on sale. No, if you're on a tight budget.
Mm.
Yun, this is my new discovery. It's the Sumkin Acrobat. They call it the Acrobat.
Oh. Do
And
you
the
know
insert,
why it's called an acrobat?
but yeah, look at that. Oh,
It's so pretty.
yun yung inserts niya. That's how the inserts look like.
It's so
It's
pretty.
is it mustard? Mustard
Yeah,
yellow?
it is. It's very nice.
There.
I'll
That's
bring
my
I'll bring the one I made, and then we can just like see the difference of the leather, because this is like Pinoy leather, cow leather.
yeah, still exciting yan. Okay, so enough about us, Sheik. Enough
True,
about our
true.
new discovery. We have to now focus our attention to our guest. And in this particular episode, we'll get to know more about Mr. Alden Castaneda, diba? The man behind all of those really engaging and really entertaining sales pitch in Fountain Pen Palenque. So we'll start off first, Sir Alden, our Q&A with a couple of questions. We'd like to know more about your personal journey with fountain pens, stationaries, and all of the different knickknacks that goes with the hobby. Sige, Jika, would you like to start first with the question?
Hi, Sir Alden.
Yes.
The first question is really just the basic one. Like, how did you start on your fountain pen and stationery journey?
Okay. Well, I think I started off with the cheaper one, which is not a fountain pen. So I started with roller balls and ball
Mm.
pens. No? And from college down to when I was working, I collected a lot. No? So and I'd like to show you. Can you see it?
Gosh, oh my gosh. It's so colorful, sir.
Yes. So these are all cross ballpoint pens. And as you can see, it hit a chord in me, no? Because I like colors. So I like different colored shirts. I like different colored bed sheets. And these pens were quite colorful. So I collected all the brands and cross. You have the Parkers and you have the Sheffers. So that was it for a long time, for decades, no. And then I had an aunt who tried to convert me to fountain pens, but she failed. I didn't like fountain pens because it was so messy on my fingers because I didn't know how to fill it up. And then the paper I used at that time wasn't really good paper. It was good enough for my ball pens and the roller balls, but for the fountain pens, there was bleed through. So I said fountain pens were not for me. No. But I guess I mellowed, and there was scribe.
Of course.
Si Miss Jill, she, I would be buying roller balls and ball pens from Scribe before. So if you weren't aware at that time, they still sold those pens, and I was probably one of their top customers buying them until they ran out of roller balls and ball pens. So uh, so I was converted to a fountain pen. My first fountain pen there was a Twist B 540, and then of course the platinum placeyears, like this platinum placeyears, yeah.
Oh.
So I started collecting the colors again, and I think what was critical to my conversion, there were two things. One was that uh, the inks there was just a lot of choices for inks, and as I mentioned earlier, I like colors, no, and these inks provided a lot more variety than the roller balls and ball pens. Standard black, blue, red. Then you can get the green and violet. But here, how many shades of blue can we get from the ink? How many shades of
True.
green? So I think that opened a new world for me. And then the second one that convinced me was using the right paper. So I discovered Rhodia and then Clairefontaine and then the Midori, which was also there, no? And then Mnemosyne. And the experience was really just uh, 2 degrees of magnitude better than roller balls and ball pens. So that hooked me. And ever since, I stopped buying roller balls and ball pens and shifted to fountain pens.
Mm,
So
nice.
so you need, I think you need a trio. You need to have the fountain pen, the ink, and the paper. They have to work
Um,
in harmony. Otherwise, you might not go into the rabbit hole.
Correct. Correct.
You
Like
would
the whole
you would be
Trinity.
saved.
that makes a lot of sense. It's hard to enable someone if one of those three is not the correct, quote unquote. Ah, hindi ko
Yeah.
alam.
So one thing I do with my post is I try to understand what kind of need the person would have. No, so if you're on a enabling journey, you want to enable someone, you need to understand that person first. No, you can't just give them any pen. No, try to find out what's their favorite color. No, if they're using standard black or blue, a favorite pala niya is purple, then you give a purple ink, no, that will excite that person, and then you have a starter pen, no, and plus don't forget the paper.
Correct. So Alvin, sorry, I just wanna ask more or less the timeline. Like when did you start getting into like what year was it?
My God, I will tell my age, but
I
it
don't
will
think
be okay.
Sorry, sir.
Senior citizen na ako.
You can give an estimate, Sir Alden, like in the last 5 years, last 10 years.
Yeah, maybe was 24, 14, 15, so
Oh,
14, 8 years. So 8 years,
mm,
but before that, it's like how many 4 decades of 4 decades of
my
roller balls and ball
roller
pens.
balls.
So my collection of ball pens and roller balls are much bigger than my fountain pen collection.
Oh my gosh, Sir Alden, if you don't mind my asking, it's totally okay to not answer, but how big, like an estimate, is your rollerball and or ballpoint collection?
Ah,
Or like, what kinds of storage containers do you put them in now? Like one entire cabinet?
uh, uh, I actually haven't. Well, the number is probably 500,
Oh my
Mm,
gosh, Sir Idol, hands down.
and I would use the Muji pen, Muji acrylics,
Mhm.
like what I showed earlier. This one you can get this at Muji.
Yeah.
There's a five five layered uh, design that maximizes because it's just small enough, so it's not too tall.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Now I know. Thank you, sir.
But then I moved house, so when I moved house, no, I have less space because I live in a condo.
Mhm.
They're stored in boxes,
Oh,
so boxes na siya, and kawawa naman sila kasi now it's the fountain pens that are in the Muji trays.
mm.
Mm.
Everyone has their day, sir. I totally admire your collection. Sana po di sila natutuyo.
Oo nga, sila roller balls.
Or,
Natutuyo ang rollerball, yeah. Yung ball pens longer. They take longer. You need to use them regularly then.
Mm.
So marami sa kanila mukhang tayo na siguro.
It's okay, sir. They were loved.
Sir Alden, so earlier you mentioned that your aunt tried to persuade you before to try fountain pens, but you were not that persuaded. So we wanted to know who, if any, influenced you in the fountain pen journey. Like when you were starting, did you watch any YouTube videos, or were there particular people you were following with their stories in their fountain pen journey?
Actually, not so much eh. Kasi I just look at what's visually available. So I guess yung pinaka nag-influence sa akin was the scribe ladies, no?
No.
Si Miss Jill po ba ito?
Sila,
Miss
sila, sila,
Jill?
and we have something new, ganyan, no? And then I didn't even want to join Fountain Pen Network at the start. Parang, at first I didn't see the need eh, because I was already happy just collecting, ganyan, and visiting the stores, no? So eventually I was convinced to join, and then I saw a lot of benefit that I didn't realize I would get from joining a community. So in fact now it's my favorite community. No, I looked at other communities, but this one, the fountain pen community, is much more professional. So there's a lot of respect. No, so it's good that political views are not allowed. No, so because it can dampen. You just want to share about things about the hobby.
Right.
And uh, it's really an eye opener for me because I saw also how people design their collection strategy, call it. No? So merong yellow pens, merong blue pens, merong purple and pink pens, and then merong uh, representative of each country. So you have a German pen, a
Mm.
Japanese pen, an Italian pen. So, uh, or they like some people like small pens versus big pens. So it's fascinating. No, it actually broadened my likes about fountain pens. I thought I would be perfectly happy already with the 3776. But by being exposed to the fountain pen community, I started to appreciate the small pens and then the big pens, and so it's a never-ending fascination because there's always something new to discover.
Mm.
You're forever noob.
Oh my gosh, Sir Alden, yes. Always the feeling. And also, sir, I guess in connection with that, I just want to tell everyone that fountain pen palenques, what do you call that? Cover picture is actually from Sir Alden as well. It's a bunch of, speaking of themes, if you log on to Fountain Pen Palenque, just like add yourself on there and the administrators will approve it. The first picture you see up top is that of Sir Alden's, like, I think it was a sales post of pink pens,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? It's iconic.
On it.
So,
Love it. Sige, Gika, next
next
question.
question. Sir
Right?
Alden, speaking of pen collections, actually not pen collections, but more like everyday pens or favorites of all time. I think you somewhat answered this na. You mentioned your three pens a while ago in Noob
Yeah, yeah.
Discoveries, right? But what's your all-time favorite paper and ink?
Clairefontaine.
Mm.
Oh, bakit po, sir? I mean, why po? Kasi most
Because
people answer Tomoe. Eh.
my I have a very strong preference for white paper.
Mm,
I
okay.
guess it started maybe in school, college, no? Parang you have the newsprint to write on,
Mm.
and even the books, no? There were books printed in newsprint, but there were those imported books were printed on book paper. yung very white, and then you like the smell.
Mhm.
And even though they're more expensive, I would buy them, no, because it makes me want to study more. But yung
True.
print, parang it's it's not exciting to study. Ayun, I like white. So, and among the white options, I think Clairefontaine and Rhodia stand out.
I agree.
So I like it better than cream. So that's my preference.
I like it, sir. It's
Yung,
still
yung,
about color.
yung Japanese paper tend to be cream.
Mhm.
A lot of them tend to be cream because it's supposed to be uh, more eye friendly. It is naman, no? It is more. It doesn't glare as much, no. But for me, the white doesn't glare, so I'm okay, super okay with white.
Opo. But Sir Alden, what about your favorite ink or your most used ink?
My favorite ink would be for the moment.
Okay lang po, sir.
I like Taxia inks. So yung mga
Oh.
ukiyo eh. So I like shading and not so much on shimmer because the shimmer parang you always have this at the back of your mind na will it clog the pen
Mm.
and I don't feel I'm a bit lazy in terms of cleaning pens.
Same po.
So lazy that when I have an ink chosen for a pen, 80% of the time it will be the same ink throughout the life of the pen.
Wow.
So, so yun. So going back to the choice, I like the shading and the ukiyo inks really provide really nice shading. So the koi eye, the blue black, the sabi midori, which is a green, blue, gray mix, no, and then benichuchi, which is the brownish red. So those are my three favorite inks now. Recently, though, I tried a J. Urban, the Rouge Granat. So, yun naman, yung shading niyan, it's red with some black, no? So, yun, I find it very interesting.
Yeah, lots of color. Lots of color indeed.
Color pa rin
Sir
talaga.
Alden, parang yun nga eh, like your theme, what we're deriving from the conversation so far is that color really defines or like is an expression of your involvement in the hobby. Would that be right?
Yes.
Uh,
Kasi I like to choose colors for the day na what will be my mood for the day, no? And what types of colors inspire me to think logically versus what colors make me think creatively. So kasi di ba in work you sometimes have to be logical, you do strategies, and then sometimes you have to do creative work, no? So
mhm.
I use my pens to help uh, chu- uh, tune my mind, no, to the intent.
Beautiful.
Never thought of it that way, Sir Alden. Because it's like, I don't know, I'm a girl. So like I was brought up girly. And then I just think that at the start of my day, I'm going to choose my clothes, these colors, so that I feel good or like it meets the purpose of what I have to do in the day. But I didn't think that pens or being part of the hobby can actually be somewhat like dressing up for the day as well. So thank you, sir.
Yeah. When I was working, that's also part of my early morning choice, no? So I choose what shirt to wear, and then I match it with my watch, and then I match it with my pen.
Oh.
New
So
goals.
whenever we would have meetings, it's a nice conversation starter because they would inspect me. The meeting participants would inspect me. Oh, what's the color of your pen? What's the color of your watch? And then they would make judgment. Okay yan. Hindi complimentary yan.
We should do that, Ryan.
It's part of it's part of the get up,
Mm-hmm.
the look
Yeah.
you have for that day. Wonderful. I think a lot of the points that Sir Alden has shared already talks a lot about what he likes and loves about the hobby. But it would be interesting to find out what Sir Alden likes least about the hobby. Kind of
Yeah.
difficult question, you know. It's not entirely negative, pero maybe there are certain things na um can be, I don't know, less something that you'd like with fountain pens.
Ah, okay. Kasi, well, of course, overall, it's the likes that that
Mm-mm.
would predominate, no? Because it's a hobby, it makes you happy. So, what aspects don't make you happy?
Mm.
Of course, the nib performance,
Um,
uh, when it becomes scratchy. But then, in terms of freak, it's not frequently encountered. But when you encounter it, it's not a good feeling, no? What I most frequently encounter uh, would be drying up in the pen. So, uh, because I like colors, I have maybe like 30 pens that are all ink.
Mm.
So you can imagine, I can't use all 30 pens in one sitting. Although my my part of my hobbies, I just use them and write the name of the pen and then the name of the ink and then move on to the next pen and so on and so forth. And I fill up 3 pages of writing and then I use most of them, no? But there are days when you're busy doing something else, so you leave them without being touched, no?
mhm.
And in fact, with most European pens, that's my pet peeve because
Mm.
they tend to dry up. No? And sabi ko may brand.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that, sir.
So actually, yung Platinum is one of my favorite brands because it has the slip and seal
Mm-mm.
Correct.
features. No? So I can leave a pen unused for weeks, no? Some even months, no? And the seal is pretty good. So when you write it, it's still okay.
Mhm.
But with some yun nga, European brands, parang you don't use them for a few days. So nag-hard start na.
Mm. True.
Now what I do is I have the syringe. So I just put water on the nib. So so it wakes up the ink and then it can write again. Others would I think
Oh.
they would dip it in water quickly just to bring back the moisture.
Oh my gosh. Sir Alden, remember I got my cafe creme from you in I think February. I haven't changed the ink since and it's a European pen. So after this I'm gonna clean my pen now. Thanks, sir.
Ay, hindi pala European, Western. Yan, Western.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's more the US brand na.
US brands like Conklin, no? Oops, I named the brand.
We can
Ano,
edit it out.
mostly Parker. Actually, Parker. So, I think meron silang design na even the cap has an opening.
Oh
They
dear.
Mm,
want
yeah,
air to come in because of supposed to be the vacuum or something. Pero when it's open, so it has a tendency to
dry.
dry fast.
But understandable. Like, thank you, Sir Alden, for reminding me to clean my pens. I only have 2 pens inked up right now, and I can't imagine the nightmare of cleaning 30 pens. I wish you luck, sir, in that journey. I think moving on then to the next part. It's really so we've pretty much cleaned or asked the questions regarding your fountain pen and stationery journey, like personally, individually, as like a pen noob. But it cannot be denied that your contributions to the Fountain Pen Network Philippines and the Fountain Pen Palenque in the Philippines are really remarkable. Like as we said a while ago, most of our collections and our favorite and hard to find pens are sourced by you. And you are so iconic in the Fountain Pen Palenque, most well known for enabling all of us. I guess moving then from the pen and stationery journey, how do you get started on enabling people, sir?
Okay, well, the idea occurred to me when I retired. So, uh, so you sort of think of what is your next chapter in life, no? And for me, the question was more difficult because in the past it was easier to set goals. No, you want to finish high school, you want to finish college, and then you want to do work, no, that's meaningful. And then when you retire, parang what do you do after? No, parang and you don't know the next one, which is you go to heaven, di ba? Hopefully heaven nga. No, but it's really because yeah, you start thinking about how can you make uh, how can you provide more meaning not just for yourself but to others, no? So ano na parang ano pa bang gagawin mo after you retire, di ba? So I thought of the hobby as uh, trying to be less self-centered, di ba? Because parang yung sa new hobby is you collect what do you like, no? What and I want this and I want that, no? So parang you're happy naman. It's a good feeling because you get enjoyment from it. But I thought that going beyond that, the next level is you become happy if you make others happier,
Mhm.
no? So parang the happiness is doubled because you make the other person happy and you also become happy, no? And uh, and I thought that I was gaining some experience in terms of how to get fountain pens in, and and I still get to buy the pens that I like. No, I actually about maybe 90% of the pens I buy, I bring in are pens that I like. No, if I don't like, usually I don't bring it in na rin because paano kung you're not bought the I am left with the pen that I don't like. So yun, that's one guideline na what I like. Although what I like also got broader because of my exposure to the community. So yun, I started enabling because I knew what to get, and then when you get compliments about how nice the pen is, why don't you just bring in more? And that started my initial uh, post in Palenque, no? And then I thought that uh, these pens are not just physical pens, no? They are they are meant for something higher, no? So a lot of people buy pens for milestones, no, for as gifts, no. Uh, so merong ano so you want to characterize the pen because if I sell this pen, I want it to be something special, no? And that's where the post started. So parang uh, these are pens with stories that parang you link it to something that strikes a chord to your emotions, And then I found out I enjoyed writing it. So parang na-extend the hobby became broader than just the pen, but the writing, it was something that I wasn't able to do much at work, no, because my work before was more of strategic planning, looking at numbers, no, and then making, well, I would call cold reports. So you don't put emotions in your report, no.
Right.
But here I had the opportunity to tap my creative side, no, with and I found that I really enjoyed writing, no, and I get to practice what I learned from work, which is the consumer insighting. So that's needed when you develop new products or to market products. No, you have to understand what the consumers are looking for. No, what will ano yung kurot sa puso, ay yung ganon, no,
Mm.
na uh, and those are things that I'm able to incorporate in my posts. So yun.
Oh my God.
Beautiful.
Hala. Sir Alden, your posts are, I mean, I keep saying the word iconic, but it's working, obviously. Um, and for our listeners and viewers, of course, not everyone that listens to the show knows how Sir Alden posts. So we'll like link that there. But often he has a picture of the pens that are for sale on a tray, the Muji tray likely. um but there's also a caption, a lengthy caption that explores the theme of those pens. So sometimes it's just one color, but other times it's like makie themed, sometimes it's nature themed, sometimes it's related to the season. And he actually, like, you can read all the effort and the passion. Sometimes it's so poetic in the way that he writes it. And he knows his consumers so well, because not only does he know the pens that we want, but he also knows how to tickle us into getting that pen. And it's so remarkable, Sir Alden, when you said a while ago that like pens are more than just a physical product. They're like they're there for milestones. That's something I never really thought of. But yeah, that's apparently how Ryan and I have been purchasing pens too. We just didn't notice it. Like when we like after a long period of exhaustion, it's like that pen is the milestone reward for making it through.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, I couldn't add anything more to what Jika said because she really summarized everything that Sir Alden does. But I'm quite curious, Sir Alden, what's the first pen you actually sold in Palengke? If you can still remember.
Actually, I don't remember,
It's okay.
but you know, uh, I did look back when I started. I write them on my iPhone.
Ooh.
So I checked, no, parang 2019. Uh, and I think one of the first pens I sold was the Sailor Lecool.
Oh.
So tapos I wrote a story about the Power Stones.
Ah,
Yeah.
I might have seen that, sir. I might have seen that in
But
2019. I remember that. Oh, sir, a follow up then, if you don't recall necessarily your first pen sale. What is the most often requested for pen? Or kahit recently lang, sir.
recently, yung Ryan's pen.
That vanishing point po?
The vanishing point.
Yes.
Oh
The
my God, you
vanishing point,
special
this
person.
one.
Yeah, because it's been a while since I posted that, but there would be requests coming in asking for that pen. So apparently when I placed that in the post, it it stuck to them, no? So they're looking for that.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I remember Sir Alden. Di ba, originally I wanted the Pelican. Then I changed my mind.
Yeah, yeah, you changed your mind.
I don't know. This has been haunting me for weeks. I want this pen.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think that it delayed reaction, parang it left a mark, but people didn't buy it immediately. But ayun nga, it kept haunting them. They would ask.
That's so true, sir. It haunts me and I don't have it. Like, I feel like I own it because Ryan has it.
I'll bring it. I'll bring it when we see each other.
Thank
So that you can
you.
get it.
Oh, wait.
Oh
Next
my gosh.
question, Ryan.
This,
Sorry.
this one is an interesting one. Is there a fountain pen you sold which you wish you kept it for yourself?
Yes, there's one pen that has a nice story. No? Well, first kasi, ang background is, when I said, sige, I'll start selling pens regularly, it means that even if I like them, I really shouldn't be very attached to them. So, what I would do is, if I really like them, maybe I'll just delay selling them. I'll keep it, so I'll see it for some time, and then I should be placing it in Palengke. And one of them was the Sailor Pro Gear Tequila Sunrise.
Oh.
So yung ano, anyway, but I posted it, no? And it was sold to the buyer, no? And of course, it was. I think that's the first time I felt some regret. Bye bye Tequila Sunrise. I really like the orange color and how the gradients were made, not so from dark to a yellow orange, no, and it was hard to get at that time, and it was the first edition, first release of the cocktails.
Oh, yeah.
Ayun, and then it came back to me.
Huh? Woo!
Because the buyer decided after some time, no, he said maybe it's the nib, that it was an MF nib was a bit too thin.
Mm.
So I saw it. He didn't tell me, no, but I saw it posted in Palengke.
That's so funny.
Was this a sign? So I bought it back from him.
Ang ganda. I love it.
So it's still with me. So I said, come to Papa.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Meant to be, sir. You're so lucky. Congratulations. That's the best story of the season of the podcast ever.
Actually. Oh my gosh.
Sir Alden, thank you for that story po. You have recharged and filled our happy battery until the next episode. Thank you po. Oh, how can we follow that up? Sir, would, apart from this story about a very interesting, like the pen that you wanted and then had a missed connection and bought back, are there any other interesting transactions you've had in these years that you've been selling pens?
Yes, actually, marami eh. Eye-openers din. Pero iba pang MMK. Let's start muna with a love story muna.
Oh, go see.
So there was a female buyer, no? Tapos she was looking for a pen. Then she said that she's going to give it as an anniversary gift. So sabi niya sa akin, don't tell, So you'll keep it a secret. Sige, okay naman. And then the next day, the partner naman, the guy, contacted me also.
Oh,
And for the same purpose, he wanted to buy a pen for the girl.
oh.
So I was keeping secret with each other. I was extra careful yung message ko that it reaches the right person. Kasi they both happened at the same time. Although I had it delivered different times. Although it would have been cheaper if I sent them at the same time. Ayun, so double surprise for them because, uy, galing pala kay Sir Alden. Ito, galing kay Sir Alden. So they surprised each other and I liked it because parang I was an instrument to making their anniversary more special. So yun, okay naman yun. Meron iba naman parang yun nga pang MMK din like uh, uh, there was a new buyer who contacted me and he said he was going to um, give a pen for his wife. And he knew that the wife was buying pens from me. So he was asking, ganyan, ano yung mga possible pens. Unfortunately, I didn't have that pen that he was looking for kasi the wife mentioned something. Pero we became friends on Facebook. So yun. No? And then I think that was on a Thursday or Friday. Tapos, and then Monday, he passed away.
Oh my gosh.
It was a sudden death. So parang, memorable naman sa akin kasi parang one of his last act was to find a fountain pen gift for the wife. No? So parang nakaka-touch din. So that's why I said, these aren't really just pens. Parang they are symbols talaga of our humanity, ganyan. So yun, na-touch naman din nga ako dun na naging friend ko but I never got to meet him. So yun.
Oh my gosh, sir. I feel like just as you create pen stories in your sales, you're so integral to the stories of the buyers of those pens, sir.
Yes, that's why yun nga yung kakawin yung parang you make other people and you become happy as well. Ang daming gano'n, people buy for graduation or yung nga, passing the exam and yun nga as gift, no? And yun nga, yung isang pen din na si someone who passed away, yung doctor na who died of COVID, no? So she had very it struck me yung post niya colorful din eh. She had a post na puro different types of suits. May blue, may purple, may ganyan. Parang ready to fight COVID. And then she tested positive, no? And she was in the hospital for a long time. And then she recovered.
Yeah.
And then when she recovered, she contacted me and she wanted to give a pen to her doctor. So, ayun, surprise na no. Pang-surprise ako. Kasi she talked to the doctor's wife. So, yun yung inarrange. She arranged for that while she was still recovering in the hospital. And then, so I made the arrangement. So, I sent the pen to the wife. So, I wrote pa yung message niya, ganyan. No? So, para and she dictated to me what I would write. Para it would be a surprise then for the husband the doctor when he arrives, no? So yun. So, and then, yun nga, so that after that, parang a few weeks later, biglang bumalik yung COVID and she passed away. So yun. So, after that, parang nag-raise din ulit ng funds and
Yeah.
sige, I'll donate a pen and it's the same pen that she gave as a gift to the doctor. Kasi parang naging symbolic din yung pen na yun as, parang you're sick na, ganyan, but she still thought of, she thought of the doctors, no? She thought not of herself, but of somebody else. So, and the fountain pen was the bridge.
Wow.
I don't know how to feel.
So many beautiful stories. Both, of course, warm, give us warm, fuzzy feelings, but also, syempre, they're quite sad. Diba? But I think
It's sad, pero yung nangingibabaw pa rin yung love, no? So, parang nakaka-uplift din kahit sad yung story.
Oh, wow.
a love story with fountain pens. The kind of love is not even just romantic. Different kind of forms of love, diba? Diba, pag meron ng ano yan, yung love language.
Yeah.
Fountain pen.
New love language. Physical touch. Quality time. Fountain pens.
Fountain pen.
But nauso yung love language. No? Was there something that triggered that? Parang that was long ago, pero lately I'm hearing it a lot more often.
Again.
Yeah, sir, it's back. It's totally back. It's like everything's in categories now.
I think there was a wave. I think before millennials were into it, like our age group. Tapos I think now the Gen Zs, those are in their 20s, are now into love language also.
Makes sense. I think we're down to our last question. Am I right, Ryan? In our código?
Yeah. Our last question, although I think you've already pointed out a lot of realizations, a lot of reflections, Sir Alden, but maybe we just want to ask if there's a particular realization that you have gained as a fountain pen palengke power seller with all of the stories, all of the transactions, all of the people you've met. I think since you mentioned, you started in 2019, but the stories you've shared with us are so rich. Parang it doesn't even feel like it was just 3 years or 4 years. Parang it felt like now you're doing it for so many years.
Yeah.
Chinek ko nga sa iPhone, yung lahat ng message, yung post ko, parang since 2019, I had 700 plus posts.
Wild. Grabe. That's a lot of pens, sir.
Yeah. So, your question is, what did I realize? I think, yung word na community, it talagang nagkaroon ng meaning yung word na community with our fountain pen community. And especially in the last 2 years na nagka-pandemic, no? And people stayed more at home and fountain pens were there to keep us company, no? So parang syempre you missed out on going out with family and friends outside of the ones at home, no? And sana kung palaging okay yung family sa they get on your nerves. So parang kasi lahat kayo cramped in this cramped space, no? So yun, so it's a nice retreat, and at the same time, because of the internet, you're able to reach outside. So in fact, parang I felt that I was thinking about it's like a cocoon, di ba? Parang we were cocooned. It means like if you were like a caterpillar, you need the cocoon to eventually become a butterfly, no? So So ganun. So parang inisip ko rin na what is the pandemic doing to me? What am I changing into, no? Ah, yun nga, parang I felt that mas na-develop yung sense of community. Parang it's not really telekinetic powers, no? Pero yung mind reading, alam mo, parang I felt that it 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 developed more, no, in me, no? So I would get comments from buyers na parang, uh, when I posted something, they would say, "Ito pa man din iniisip ko at that time," no? So parang, ba't nagsaswak, no? Parang ay, parang mind reader ka ba? Ganun ba eh. I get those kinds of comments and baka nga 'no, kasi, when I prepare parang I sort of I don't really know what I would write for
Mm.
the day or for the next day, eh, pero parang I try to be still and ano ano nga ba? So, and a picture of a set of pens will appear in my mind, and apparently but siguro that same picture is being seen by someone else in the community. So parang I got that sense during the pandemic. So ayun, which is good, which means that we are really connecting as a community. That's what I realized from this hobby in the past 2 years.
Oh my gosh, Sir Alden, you're giving me new perspectives about being in the hobby. It's really motivating to fall back into it. I mean, we've been so busy at work in the last 2 months or 3 months or so. And it was really hard, at least for me, to like see why I was still there. Other than the podcast, it's always fun. It's always like I can still journal and everything. But I kind of really do miss being part of something bigger actively. So thank you, Sir Alden, for that reminder.
Okay, good.
Well, so the next segment is more of this is not reflection anymore, but more of just a fast talk. We call it this or that. We just want to. I think we've pretty much started to understand Sir Alden's taste, and maybe for some people who really look up to Sir Alden, they would prefer this brand more because he recommends it. So that's what we're going to do. But then again, we don't want naman na certain brands are prioritized where others are not. But we just want to know your thoughts based on limited choices, because I'm trying to edit out some of the brands which we know you like already based on our conversation. So make you choose between brands that maybe you did not mention. So that if you
Okay,
have to
okay.
choose between two, so parang kang stranded in an island with two choices,
Oh, okay.
Forced to make a choice, sige, sige.
forced to make a choice. Okay, so the first one, since it seems like you do like platinum, you might also have a sailor, so I'm going to remove sailor now. It's either pilot or pelican.
Ah, Pelican.
Pelican.
Ooh.
Next,
Pelican.
quick drying or water resistant inks.
Quick drying.
Quick
Yeah, kasi
drying.
I'm a lefty.
Oh.
So, although I usually don't have problems with smudging naman, but preferably quick drying.
Ooh.
Do you have a recommended quick drying ink?
Sailor Yonaga.
Mm.
Yonaga, I like it.
Okay, this one. 2 Japanese paper brands. Tomoe River Paper or MD Midori Paper?
Midori.
Midori.
Oh, I like that.
Yung Tomoe River, kasi siguro I don't like its thinness.
Yeah.
Parang mas nagbe-bleed through siya. So, I like Midori better. And then yung plain ng ink, I see it naman sa Midori. Happy na happy na ako doon. Without really bleeding through.
Understood, sir. Next.
Oh, earlier you talked about Jika, go.
Sir, we
Wanted to-
noticed that you have a penchant for medium nibs. So the next two choices are fine or broad nibs.
Fine.
Oh. Out
Again,
of
also partly because lefty ako. So with broad nibs, parang yun nga, you get to experience more bleed through and probably smudging more, and I have to write bigger letters.
Okay, that makes
Kasi
sense.
kung hindi, magdidikit-dikit masyado yung
Opo. Sir, between two icons of German fountain pens, Pelikan M1000 or Mont Blanc 149?
I have to choose, no?
Yes. Sorry, sir. On an island, you can only bring one.
Only because MB149, because I was able to hold it na. Yung Pelikan 1000, I haven't.
Held it
So,
near.
and okay naman yung grip ko dun sa Mont Blanc. So, yung Pelikan, actually yung M800 for me start to be a bit too heavy. Or uncomfort. Yung you can't use it for a long time. Parang M600 is my ideal size and weight for Pelikan.
Oh.
Beautiful.
I think
Actually, I placed that question there for a personal reason because I'm choosing between the two. So, parang ginawa kitang roller ako.
may vested interest.
Joke lang. Type.
Sir Alden, last na po of the two choices. Even if your collection, or rather your everyday pen, so it seems, are mainly Japanese. But kanina, the first question was between like a sailor and the Pelikan, and you chose the German pen. So, between those two categories, Japanese
The pilot
pen.
now.
Opo, this is the last choice. Between Japanese pens or German pens, which of the two would you choose?
Ay, Japanese. Definitely Japanese. Kasi I've seen the culture of Japanese na, di ba, yung concept of quality control, yung mga Kaizen principles nila. So, there is a reverence for work. And you feel it sa quality, sa level of deviation. No? So they're able to make nibs that are in between. No? Yung mga, may fine, may medium, pero may medium fine. So ganun sila ka-precise. No? And you see the opposite with German pens, no? Or sometimes even Italian pen. Parang you buy an F, but you don't really know it's going to be writing like an F. Mas wide yung nila, yung range ng nib performance. So, ganun nga yung actually, with the Pelikan, I couldn't differentiate the EF from the F.
Actually.
Kasi yung range nila, parang siguro yung higher, yung quality standard nila, pasok yung range na halos F na yung EF, but they still pass it. Ako, I imagine, although I'm not sure, no, but I can imagine parang sa Japanese, they really take the time to check the nib width.
Sir Alden, I love how you put it, that there is a reverence for the work. That's so beautiful. The phrasing, sir, ang daming takeaways in this episode, and I am just like in awe. Thank you.
Same here. I've learned a lot of new things actually with our conversation with Sir Alden. motivated me to buy a new pen in May. Sir Alden, so reach
Okay,
out to
we
you
can
in
talk
May.
afterwards.
No, but seriously, Sir Alden's stories really is so inspiring, and it really reminds us that having these stationaries, all of these things, fountain pens, inks, paper, they all form part of our narratives and our stories. And even him, as someone who would sell these pens, also carries with him these stories that people have. So it's so beautiful, talaga.
Yes, sir. It's like you're the giver in that book. The giver. Is that the one where like there's sorry, I know it's assigned reading, but I never read it. But it's about the person like in a community who essentially carries majority or all the stories of the community, and you have to access him at a particular age. I think. Sorry, I have to verify this through the Wikipedia summary. But yeah, and essentially, Sir Alden, you are our story keeper. And I mean, you share your stories through your Facebook posts and through selling us the pens that we didn't know we desired or that
Mhm.
we've desired for so long. And it's like we didn't know that, it was so rooted in this notion of community. In the same way that you like choose your pens thematically, it's like the pens are a manifestation of the community itself. Because I'm pretty sure that each and every one of those pens goes to someone in the community, and the story expands and the community grows, and it feels so nice to talk to you, Sir Alden, because we feel like we've accessed the giver.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your stories and keeping our stories with you as well.
Once
And
again,
thank
thank
you
you,
also
sir.
for the opportunity to invite me here. I appreciate it also.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, Alden Castaneda, thank you very much, sir, for joining us in another episode of Pen.
Noobs!
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.